So does anybody have so many questions?
I have so many questions.
Well, the news blew me away too. Y'all know when I was not fond of internet trolls for mislabeling us and Christine. Now I misspoke when I disliked them. I was really upset for the males a lot being gay. I was mainly upset at them for the mislabeling and for being harassing bullies. Personally, I never had any ill will towards the gays and the LGBTQ communities too. I was neutral with lack of better knowledge of them and the differences in between. But they are still individual people. Wow! I only detested the bad people alone. The gays are okay people. Nothing wrong with what they do. All that has never been my thing, but I do not judge them, nor ever meant to judge them on their lifestyles and choices. And with Christine being part of the LGBTQ communities, Rosie and I have learned for the better and have become the most proud supporters and allies. Hell, even my next door neighbor is a lesbian, but we hired her to be our babysitter based on her skill sets and references from other local parents. I'm Sonichu, the electric hedgehog Pokemon.
Oh, and
And this is Homo Vulgaris.
There we go.
And I see the ladies walking along one by one, and I never want to hear I have a boyfriend. Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage. Tell me why I so need a new girl my age. Tell me why I never want to hear you say I have a boyfriend and I have no
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, so that was
Now it's time for the podcast. It's as cool and blue as me.
we're gonna have trouble getting you out of character at this point.
That's such a bad thing in my mind.
Yeah, that was Sonichu in the newest issues of Sonichu mansplaining about the protagonist's transition into womanhood.
It is now okay to be gay in the world of Sonichu.
Right. It was something that was once a plague to be cured with pure virgin blood from the future.
Literally, yeah, that was a plot point.
Now
Yeah.
pretty cool. I mean, they can babysit your kids.
I like the part in Sonichu where Chris was a reverse vampire who was putting his blood into everybody else.
Yeah, Sonichu is back.
The sleeper has awoken.
The sleeper has awoken. Sonichu has returned.
Like, he's been trying to finish up this Christmas comic, and I always thought it was kind of like poetic that Sonichu has been trapped in the saccharine and commercial world of Christmas for years.
The next issue will hopefully be, moving on from the Yuletide jolliness, the celebrations of the Quickville Mall.
Yeah, it's been Christmas 2008 for almost a decade now. But I love the idea of like a bunch like this weird extended family getting together to do Christmas at the Christmas tree in the middle of the shopping mall.
It's been nice. They'll catch up and talk about the latest gossip, and then they mention that their Lord and Creator Chris has arisen anew. Yeah.
Chris Chan went forward in time to get a cure for gayness and discovered he was a she.
Wow!
And she said, "Hey man, take a walk on the wild side."
And all the black Sonichus sing, dude.
Yeah, a lot of these pages are just these really gigantic text bubbles with Chris kind of explaining himself and a lot of gibberish about emotional readjusting and how there's a little bit of personal growth that he admits in the past. He had some pretty shady views, but now he's come through that and gone completely to the other side.
Yeah, it does. It is not only now is it okay to be gay, but the homophobia has been retconned out. Chris and Sonichu were just mad at the haters who just happen to be gay.
And all in all, it's actually kind of boring stuff in that it's just these big blocks of text kind of explaining things like that. The real return of Sonichu is this wonderful. He did like this collage where he took a picture of the outside of his house, and then in like Terry Gilliam-esque style, he's cut out pictures of himself and his loved ones and a giant transformer and kind of pasted them all together.
Chris,
sad.
Their mom and dad, all of the Sonichus, and yeah, a Transformers toy that's been shift-clicked and dragged up to be bigger than the house, all just photoshopped in.
All at wonderful different resolutions.
Yeah, it's not. It's bad. I was about to defend it. It was like, nah, it's bad.
It is, but it's less bad than honestly I would expect.
It's kind of. I think it's the best thing. He's kind of just expressing how real this world is to him still,
and he's sad. Like when you think about that picture,
it's very sad because he's included his deceased father in it.
Get away from the internet! I'm cutting it down right now.
No. Who probably would not be okay with their ongoing apparent gender transition.
But his mom's in the picture, but she's photoshopped in, even though she's alive and lived. Well, she was probably the one taking the picture, I guess.
Or he just used an old picture of her because he doesn't.
That's definitely an old picture of her.
The unflattering thing she's become. But any sympathy that could be garnered by this touching tableau is immediately washed away by the next page that says, "I'm done adulting. Let's be Sonichu and roast you." Because Chris has a lot of adult responsibilities.
I just think it's funny that the big family photo collage is immediately preceded by Chris being hit on by one of their own Sonichu creations.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, he's turned the male gaze onto himself, and it's creepy.
Begging your pardon, miss, but nice rack. Wow. Thanks, Blake, but don't get any ideas. Well, of course not. Believe me, I was more surprised now than when I heard of what you have been, Miss Chandler.
It does say surprised, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does say surprised.
No one writes dialogue entirely like Chris Chan.
No, and when you're reading
all the
it,
words are just in the weirdest possible order.
You have to, when you're reading out loud, you have to kind of stop yourself from saying what would make sense to say.
Right.
And just start, like, tripping over the syntax.
And we've got, like, within all of these giant text bubbles, I mean, like, some of these pages are just, like, a little character's head and then a half a page of text bubble taking up everything else. And there's all of these, like, if you've ever played, like, an old BioWare role-playing game where they'd have, like, character actions between asterisks, or like a role-play chat in an IRC, in the text bubbles.
Sonichu is definitely going for the novel end of graphic novel.
But I'm excited. I'm excited Sonichu's back. I'm looking forward to see where it goes from here, because it's
it's my favorite piece of outsider art. Or one of my favorite, because that's a bullshit term. It's one of my favorite pieces. I don't know. It's a intensely personal work by an auteur who, and it could not have been created by any other person.
That is true.
And is frequently not created by its creator for the longest periods of time. It is the Venture Brothers of weird TMI webcomics.
I mean, we're closing in on Twin Peaks levels of hiatus.
Well, I'll see you again in 25 years. What if instead of Twin Peaks, David Lynch had done Twin Peaks the Hedgehog?
Ah, that's damn fine coming, Fanta.
That's a damn fine Chaos Emerald.
Damn fine chili dog.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
So the first pages of Sonichu 12 are out, and it's mainly Robbie dealing with his adulthood. His sisters have evolved, but he has not. And in the Sonichu universe, evolving is synonymous with puberty. So.
Oh, I haven't seen these.
You haven't seen these? Let me link them really quick, and you can take a quick gander. Maybe we edit out a pause or something like that. I think he's realized that a lot of people just want to hear him put his thoughts down, and drawing takes time. And so, again, there's a lot of big boxes of text and heads saying things. But it's about Robbie. He's growing up, and he sees the boys, and the boys like being violent and mean.
Robbie is Sonichu's son. Sonichu did marry and create a whole family through the run of the comic.
Through a graphic description of how their anatomy works, a child was created.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, there is some very explicit sex in this hybrid of Pokemon and Sonic the Hedgehog.
But so he sees the boys, and they're rough, and they like zombies and violence and blood, and he just that stresses him out. So he decides maybe there's something else out there for him, and he sees his mom doing all the chores, and that's what he wants to be. He doesn't want to be a rough and tumble dude. And
such a woke take on gender dynamics.
Right, so he starts talking to his sisters about boys, and this is where the juggling the escargot phrase comes up. I don't know what that is.
Man, Robbie's sisters, they got some big old titties. Which one? Christine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Christine's-
Now we've got Christine Chandler, the creator, and a character also named Christine.
Oh wait, is that? Yeah, I was confused. Like, no,
Yeah,
that's-
No, there's two separpt characters.
well, I
Yeah.
know, but Chris Chan used to be able to turn into a Sonichu and then into a then into a hobo. So
yeah, that was like the colossal Christian was one of my
Colossal
best. Like
I love
when I
Sonichu.
read that, I had like the Altered Beast.
Rise from your grave.
Yeah, anyone ever play Altered Beast, that old Sega game?
I've seen it.
I know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, when you collect the power thing, this tinny like robot voice comes on. It's like, oh, and I just imagined that, and then he's a hobo. Well, anyways, that's Sonichu. I wish Megan was here. She's been telling us about a comic which I haven't read, but is really popular. What is it? Goonish Shive? How do you say
Yeah,
that?
I guess Goonish Shive or Shive.
It's been a real popular comic, on the net. And it started off as kind of a weird kind of fetish comic, honestly, with what's the anime? We're gonna play a clip here.
What anime?
Oh, come on, the anime about turning into women.
The Ranma 1/2?
Yeah.
I read the first bit of El Goonish Shive for a minute, and I didn't see. It seemed more like it started off as just like, I'm gonna make a webcomic without really any idea what they were gonna do in a webcomic. Like, what, they didn't have
Right.
a story. The story about a blob or something wasn't very good.
Eventually, it gets to the point where they're using like transforming things to turn into ladies.
The style looked a little, the modern style, the art's improved a lot, but the modern style does look a little Rumiko Takahashi.
It's another one of these webcomics that's been running since 2002 and has become about completely different stuff.
Yeah. So
Now it's another person who is not really all that woke, making very long wordy digressions on gender identity.
Right. Like, so, I mean, one of the plot points is this gender swap transformation gun technology that they use for various purposes. And then one of the main
Like a
characters
gravity gun for your genitals.
gets an email from a fan, and it's like, hey, I'm transgender. Maybe you could use your technology to help me actually be transgender, seeing as that's like your superpower. And they're like, oh, wait, that's a serious issue. Let's spend the next 20 pages of the comic talking about a serious issue on a couch.
That'd work better if webcomics came out like in issues, where you weren't like just waiting a whole day to get the next comic, and it's just more of the same thing.
Another extension of a long conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just gone on and gotten kind of off topic and strange. I'm sure she could do a way better job. Maybe we'll come round back to it.
Yeah, no, I think it would help to have Megan on here for this. But I mean, like, I just want to say, like,
She's got
it's
way more insight.
by all means try, like, approach complicated issues and have diverse characters and stuff. Just sometimes people don't do it well.
I don't know. Like, I say don't approach complex issues in your comic unless you're prepared to have a comic with a lot of depth. You can't go back to a gag a day or a sitcom-y rom-com thing after having, like, I don't know, a miscarriage.
Yeah. But you know what, I'll say this for loss.jpg, it's short and it has no dialogue.
Yeah. It does convey, the tone shift is just hilarious. I don't know. I think like Calvin and Hobbes could occasionally, hit on like a kind of deep issue in a kind of a short way, and then go back to being a funny gag strip.
Yeah, well,
Calvin and
okay,
Hobbes was
but
Calvin and Hobbes.
yeah, and
It's the greatest
Calvin
combination.
never got terminal cancer. Like they never
True.
went like, oh, one of the characters is going to change forever.
There's some old Far Sides that still make me cry when I think about them.
What, like cow tools?
Yeah. Not cow tools, but there's one where there's a cow grilling up hamburgers, and the other cows are just like looking at him with their arms crossed, and they're like, "You're sick, Jerry. Sick." And that really gets to me about the inhumanity of man towards man and how bad it would be if other animals were capable of the evil that we're capable of.
Do you know Cow Tools then?
Yeah.
Cow Tools was the strip that got the most letters about it.
Yeah, because everybody was like, "What are they?" And they're like, "What's a cow tool?"
Yeah, what's the joke here? And he's like, "Well, the cows made some tools, and they're kind of crude, I guess."
Cows don't make tools. That's the joke.
Yep. If they did, they wouldn't be very good tools.
I also take back what I said. This comic doesn't look like Miko Takahashi. Everybody looks like Mega Man.
Yeah. Mega Man took his helmet off and running around with different hairstyles on.
Mega Man got tits.
All the same face.
And there's even a Dr. Light looking motherfucker running around.
Oh, I flipped through a couple early panels, and yeah, there was just literally him. Or Dr. Wily. I'm not a big Mega Man guy. I don't know which doctor is which.
Dr. Wowie.
Fluffy cloud hair, Light. Not as good as Robotnik, Wily. Soft Einstein, Dr. Light. Pointy Einstein, Dr. Wily. That's right.
So now that Sonic is basically a Nintendo character, man, go back in time.
Don't say that.
What Nintendo?
I wonder if they'll have that ultimate robot fighting crossover. Sonic and Mega Man team up against.
Didn't they do
have
that in
twice?
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's such an obvious thing to do.
In the Sonic comic, well, because Archie had Mega Man and Sonic, so they're like, what if put these two together?
And the bad guys are all robots, so it was pretty easy.
It also helped that the books had the same staff.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had a Mega Man book, like a Western one.
Yeah.
Western-made one?
Yeah. It's nothing to write home about.
It's okay. It's got some good stuff. The art's really nice, but Archie's Sonic shit's the art's pretty consistently good.
Well, speaking of an uninspired segue and supervillains, why don't we talk about the orb? Maybe that'll...
The orb! The orb!
What is it?
Do not try to escape. You are in my control. Look at me. I am the sum of all evils. Look carefully. My power infests all times, all galaxies, all dimensions. But many still seek me out. A green jewel they must possess. But see how I destroy their lives.
Maybe we'll get some high energy going with the orb.
Yeah, I've been feeling a little languid today, but I'm ready to get pumped about the orb.
So, I'd love to play, if we could get the music that they played during the orb activation sequence. I'd love to be able to put that under things. But, during his visit to Saudi Arabia, President Trump was asked to activate the, the Global Network for Anti-Extremist Islam or some crap like that.
Yeah.
Did you see the center? Did you see the room it took place in?
Yeah,
the room it took place in looks like a set out of fucking like a James Bond villain thing. Like
it looks great. It's like clearly this is not a functional room. Why are you doing it here? Commanding the Evangelions?
Right.
Yeah. There's all of these screens and just rows of people at computers, and then
rows of
all on the
faceless
pillar is a
goons doing God knows what.
In reality, if this job even worked, if this wasn't just the Saudis like blowing up money, they're not. Let's not forget who did 9/11. But that's fine.
But anyways, so they were going to activate this command center, and they thought, hey, what better way to activate it than to have them hit a button or pull a lever or something? Hey, I know, this is the future. Let's touch activate things, like the clapper or something. They could have done the clapper. The clapper would have been way better. But let me make a note of that. Clapper.
Clap on, clap off. The clapper.
In any case, they decided to put their hands on this glowing globe all at once, which activated the command center to dramatic music. Instead, in the low lighting and dramatic music and being lit from below and putting your hands on a symbol of the entire Earth, they kind of ended up looking like supervillains.
Yeah, they are supervillains.
Exactly. It's an image that conveys more accurately what's going on in the abstract than it does just by literally interpreting the events that are being depicted.
If like Bernie and Al Franken were the one touching the orbs, it wouldn't look nearly as sinister. If Hillary Clinton was touching the orb, very sinister.
Oh, Hillary Clinton would have also touched the orb.
She would have touched the orb.
You would have touched the orb. Well, here's the deal. When you light someone below, it makes them look scary and evil. I don't care who it is. You can light Santa Claus like that, and you'd think he'd be coming for your stockings. You'd be terrified.
Oh man, dude, don't even get me started. Santa Claus is creepy, like just objectively.
Right, that he's kind of an intruder with magical powers that observes you constantly. Terrifying. But I mean, and it's not just a cultural thing. Like, I get in an argument with someone, they're like, oh, it just looks weird to us because of our culture. Lighting someone from below like that looks creepy in all cultures. It's as old as time. It's why we tell scary stories around a campfire. Because lighting from below is unnatural. There's no way to get that to occur during the daytime. It's scary. It's weird.
It's a universal feature in horror movies, I believe, since The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah, you light someone like that, they look scary. And then you put your hands on a symbol.
The orb!
Yeah, like, it's also, like, not just, like, a light. It's this ominous blue glow. Like, it really looks like...
I didn't even know it was a globe, like a picture of a globe until yesterday. I just thought it was just an orb.
Well, it's an incomplete globe. Like, looking at it, it looks like there's, continents that should be there that aren't.
There's only North and South America. They only
put Australia.
Really?
Yeah. Australia on there.
Yeah, they didn't put the back of the globe on.
Fucking idiots. God. I was like, I don't know. I thought there were more continents. I thought there were like 10 or something. So Greenland's a continent, right?
You know, if you're gonna do a photo op with a glowing orb globe thing and you want some good symbolism, you shake hands over it. Just put your hands over it. Look at that. Peoples of all colors and creeds uniting over the symbol of our home. That's beautiful, man. No, when you put your hands on it, it's like, this is mine. We're carving this shit up, man.
It's the Loch Nar from heavy metal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is
Palantir.
Dark energy and power that they are going to tap into, and that's why it is so sinister.
What is it about glowing orbs that just immediately causes people to be like, evil, terrible orb?
Well,
was there an orb sometime in the past that like some alien civilization used to rule us as just part of our genetic energy to fear glowing orbs?
Right, yeah. But it's like our punishment chair. It's the timeout orb, basically. It's like, human, you're gonna make me get the orb out if you don't mine those precious metals faster for my spaceship.
It's Crabbot delivering his daily beating to Space Ghost.
The reason I think we're talking about the orb, though, is not because we want to talk about political commentary. It's that this has spawned some of the best memes I've seen in a long time.
The memes are pretty good, but then I just look at the originals like, that's already perfect. Like, that's a fantastic photograph of just these, like, 3 evil assholes. Why, in real life, like, you look at any picture of, like, Obama, and you can figure out what he's doing generally. It's like, oh, he's, like, walking to a meeting. I do that, too. Oh, he's getting a hot dog. I do that, too. Oh, he's doing his job. We all got jobs.
Oh, he's paragliding because he broke up with his girlfriend, the United States. Yeah. I get it.
See, no one else...
Nobody in their day-to-day life places their hands on a glowing orb. It doesn't seem like it's the president's job to be communing with the orb. None of the other presidents talked to the orb or touched the orb.
My favorite meme.
They wouldn't be photographed touching or communing with the orb. They would commune with the orb in secret. But Trump, that doesn't really occur to him. He doesn't know how powerful the orb is. He doesn't know how powerful he is.
It's voice. You should edit a low hum into this entire section.
My favorite meme that came out of this was someone had taken a still that happened just after they touched the orb, where the president had blinked or closed his eyes, and it said, "Yo, 100% right now, Trump is making a wish."
Yeah, he was.
He's making a wish on the orb.
Or like a sandwich.
Also, his whole Saudi trip's been just a hoot. It's
Right.
been just great.
The one I showed you that isn't picking up, I guess it gets picking up a little more steam, is that a gif of Steve Bannon, who seems to be going through the DTs as he is surrounded by people wearing, and it's not headscarves, there's an actual appropriate term for these things, but I don't know it because I'm not part of their culture.
Kefias?
Scary
that's right.
foreign garb.
Muslim hats.
Yeah, Muslim hats. And he looks like the extra in a zombie movie right before he gets eaten. He's like,
I'm surprised Bannon didn't touch the orb. Like, he seems like the guy who really wants to touch the orb, but they wouldn't let him.
He probably wanted to, yeah, and Trump was like, no, Stevie, only I get to touch the orb. Two orbs for me, no orbs for you.
I like to imagine that there was a line afterwards, like people got to touch the orb after him, you know? They just had to politely wait.
I don't know if they'd let just anybody touch the orb.
There's clearly someone in the photo standing to the in the right side of the photo who's clearly just patiently waiting for his turn. He looks happy, but he's a little bit like, oh, hurry up, my turn.
I want to touch the orb. Why are they just letting anybody touch the orb in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I mean, this is like a command center. All of these guys in the room have been vetted. Like regular Joe off the street can't touch the orb. And you know, they definitely wouldn't let any women touch the orb.
Oh, no,
but
Melania was not.
Melania got to touch the orb, yeah.
I only saw her standing near it. I didn't see her hand on it.
Okay, Google. Did Melania touch the orb?
Touch the orb. Touch the orb. Touch the orb.
Oh, I thought you were asking your phone. It's like, when did you switch to dirty old Android?
No, I was trying to trigger all our viewers' phones, actually.
No. Hey, Siri! God, gotta be loud at her.
Would Siri respond to a recording?
Oh yeah,
of the same phone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've seen two Siris having a conversation with each other.
My apologies. I don't understand. My apologies. I'm sorry. I'll try harder. It's all good. Yes, everything is just fine. I don't understand. Yes, everything is just fine. My apologies. I don't know what you mean by. My apologies. Don't worry about it. I am incapable of worry, but thanks anyway.
Man, if only we could tell Siri to just log in. Oh, hey, Megan.
Hey, what'd I miss?
We were talking about how President Trump has stolen the power and talent of several NBA players and absorbed it through the orb.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about that. That's gonna be weird.
I didn't want the orb to be president, but I guess it's better if Trump is going to be the president. It's best if he has the power of the orb inhabiting his mind and controlling him, because we can't trust him. We can't trust the orb, but we can trust Trump less. At least the orb's smart.
I trust the orb more than I trust Pence.
Oh yeah. The orb, Pence wouldn't be able to survive touching the orb.
Yeah, he'd melt like the guys who opened the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, he's probably back. Did he even go to Saudi Arabia? He's have to stay here and like make sure that the steaks are cooked all the way.
If we're lucky, they'll let us imbue smaller orbs off of the big orb, and then we'll all have a little cut of the orb. That's what I'm hoping for.
I definitely want orb socialism. Everybody gets an orb.
Everyone gets a little orb. That'd be nice.
Maybe that's the problem.
Before work every day, I could just put my hand on the orb and make a wish.
Well, thanks to the power, of chaos magic, you can create your own orb, and I don't know.
Support the Homo Vulgaris Patreon so that we too can eventually buy our own orb. That comes right after microphones and hosting.
And we will make a video of unboxing the orb.
I got a bunch of shit that might count as orbs.
I mean, a sphere and an orb are different things. You got to be discerning.
Yeah, an orb pulsates with a mysterious light. A sphere, an orb with no power.
Like I thought I got an orb once off of this shady guy down in an alleyway in East Vancouver, but it was actually just a Christmas tree ornament.
And we were also discussing earlier before the podcast. We were discussing the difference between the difference of globes and blobes.
I feel like the difference is entirely socially constructed.
Globes are models of the sphere that we live on, with countries and stuff like that. Blobes are an uninvented male sex toy in the shape of a sphere.
Well, someone else might live on that. I mean, it's all about perspective.
I mean, isn't that just one detached anal bead?
I bet Trump wanted to fuck the orb.
Yeah, he wanted to fuck that.
He already
orb.
has.
Did he?
Just assume that he's fucked anything you see him touch.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab him by the
Orb.
I can do anything.
Oh yeah, probably.
Well,
wouldn't be
Orb had
allowed
to
in a
tell you
photo.
he grabbed it. That's what he was doing.
well, on the upside, I've never seen him show any affection towards his son, Sweet Baron, so he's probably safe.
I haven't actually ever seen them in the same room. I assume they were at the inauguration together, but other than that.
Hey, nice orb. Where's the pussy?
In the Illuminatus trilogy, they fuck a giant apple. It's kind of a similar concept.
Mm.
Yeah, an apple can be an orb under the right conditions. The apple in the story of Genesis
Snow White
is definitely an orb.
So now that
we went
Megan's-
different ways.
Now that Megan's here, maybe we get back to the thing that we couldn't grapple with well. Was it Goonish Shive? Is that how you say it?
Oh my god, you tried to talk about Goonish Shive without me?
We tried
luck.
to, and apparently it went so badly that we couldn't even pronounce the name right.
Yeah, I don't know how to
No,
say
okay,
it at all.
so the guy's name is Dan Shive. Goonish means literally nothing.
It's Spanish for the goon. Okay, so explain to us how, it went from this wacky gag a day comic to kind of gender swap fetishism.
Well, arguably it was always both. So Goonish Shive, like many of the old long-running webcomics, started in the guy's high school newspaper, but then eventually was taken online because he got out of high school eventually, and then, all bets are off. Because he's got some fetishes, but there's always this pretense of, oh well, this is still family friendly, right? So my fetishes are going to be subtle and just wacky and not really sexual, but they are in that Totally Spies sort of way.
Oh god!
So half the shit on the old Disney Afternoon.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh no! Someone got tied up. A
Are
lot.
you telling me there were
covered in slime
in my children's cartoons?
Yeah, I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, maybe
They're a little less subtle about it these days.
So,
Adventure Time.
Why in Shive is it necessary? What plot device facilitates them transforming genders?
Take your pick, honestly. So it starts off with this main character has a magical transformation gun. You shoot someone with it, a laser beam comes out, they turn into a girl or a cat girl or a cow girl or a squirrel girl or something. And from there,
it's always a girl.
Monster girls, huh?
Yeah, essentially. Before that was a thing, that was a term. Before Monster Girl was really a word we used. Back then it was just, here's some weird transformation furries. That there was also oh, well, now we know the transformation magic came out of a gun that aliens had. Or, oh, here's another thing that also does it, but it's magic. And now here's, vampires are involved. Now fairies are involved. It's 20 different things.
Why do they need to change into ladies?
Because the main character, it's an ensemble, but the main character who's the one who pushes most of it, at first is described as just being a pervert, and it was honest about it. Oh, there's a page where he's shouting at one of the other characters, of course I'm a pervert. I can tell you exactly why I find this sexy. Who cares? Just let me do it. But now, in current year, it's been revealed that he was secretly gender fluid the whole time, and this was his way of expressing that.
Yeah, but I'm talking about within the
comic. The author. Where does that line end?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's very hard to say because Dan Shive's always come off as kind of an okay guy. Like he's a pervert, but he's not really forceful about it. He seems to know where the limit is, and he tries to be nice. Like he seems like a nice guy. Even do any of you remember Your Webcomic is Bad and You Can Feel Bad?
A little. Didn't it eventually become the Bad Webcomics Wiki? Is that
not the same guy, but they were inspired by it. But even the guy behind that thought that like he couldn't be that mean to Dan Shive because he just seems like he's trying to be nice. Like that's the magic of Shive.
What I'm getting at is within the scope of the comic itself, what conflict required them to use the transformation gun? Like, oh, characters robbing a bank. Better turn them into a sexy cat lady. That showed hands.
Almost. There's various reasons in the plot. Half the time it's that they do it accidentally, then have to fix it, and that's the plot. But at least one time they have a hideous chimera of a monster that is fighting them, and part of its thing is that it's painful for it to turn back and forth from various forms it has, where it's like a bat and it's a moth and it's a person and it's a demon, and shooting it with like whatever magic beam they had that week turned it into a human lady, and then it was like, oh well, now I'm fixed, I get to be normal and live a normal life. Like they literally have done that.
Okay. But now he's gotten an email from a fan who's like, hey, I'm transgender, sure wish magic was real. Oh
yeah. That's the current plot right now, is that one of the characters who has access to gender swap magic is rumored to be like a superhero in his town, and of course the superhero is a girl, so someone's sent him an email being like, is that really you? Teach me to do it. And it's started this whole thing of self-discovery for one of the characters of like, oh well, what if we could help people, but what if we can't? And it's a little ham-fisted.
And like I was saying before, it's kind of gone Star Wars prequel level with literally people sitting on couches talking about things.
Well, they've always done that. Goonish Shive is notorious for having a single arc which took place over a single birthday party. Not even a day, just the course of a birthday party that took over like a year for him to finish.
Jesus.
Yeah, I thought fights in Dragon Ball Z took a long time to resolve.
Dude, no, you have no idea. Webcomics are like this.
Well, yeah, at least they're fighting Dragon Ball Z.
I shared with you the what was that one? Riot Fish, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I did look at the archive of that, and that its pacing is, well, in that one it seems to be clearly intentional, but like if it's day by day by day and you've got like 3 panels, like nothing's gonna happen for a week.
Right. Yeah, the Riot Fish is about a newspaper comic strip that has suddenly become sentient, in that the main character realizes that he is a newspaper comic strip, but the confines of the newspaper comic strip affect his perceptions. So he will start up, he'd be like, oh, I'm sitting down in my living room. What's going on here? I guess there should be a joke now? Oh, that page is ending. So the start and end of each strip kind of interrupts his trains of thoughts, and he has to learn to function in a world where every day he only gets about 5 seconds of sentience, and then he restarts over again.
Like a goldfish?
Kind of, but he can remember it. He has memory. He can remember the last strip. But literally the strips will be like him sitting in his chair and he'll have a revelation. He's like, wait, I don't have time to think about this. I'm on the 3rd panel. I have to.
It felt like a lot of just like an anxiety simulator, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a really anxiety, but the pacing of it it's been going for years. And he's literally only gotten some papers out of the recycling bin and tried to read them in the course of years. That's all he's managed to do in the script.
That sounds difficult to read.
It is. And he's gained the ability to look around him in the newspaper and look at other strips, but not interact with them.
And he was really sweaty. I remember a lot of that when I looked at it.
Yeah, he's really dirty and sweaty because I think he doesn't bathe because he just spends the 3 strips trying to figure out what he's doing. He doesn't do anything.
I'm interested to see where that goes.
Yeah, well, it's not going anywhere fast.
The bath arc is going to be real epic when you get to it in 2021.
I'm sure he's going to figure out that he can do things between strips because it's a comic strip, but he hasn't figured that out yet.
We also touched on the return of Sonichu. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on that, Megan.
God, I'm hyped for that.
Expert.
Have you read the last of episode 11 and the beginning of 12 then?
Wait, there's a beginning to 12?
It's
What did he do?
Chris is on a tear.
Oh my god. Who did this to him? Because I love it.
Of riches.
So,
I love it. I'm so excited.
What are your thoughts about the end of the Christmas special with the wonderful Omake at the end, I guess?
Well, I had not realized that he had released some pages in like 2015, so I went into it thinking, wait, who's that purple one? Oh my god, he evolved one of them. But other than that, I find it pretty adorable, and I'm excited for the prospect of having Sonichus doing things again. There's
I'm glad that they're doing things again too, but it seems like he's fallen into a style where he's realized he can write huge blocks of text next to floating heads and kind of not.
Well, he's always done that.
Yeah, it's not totally new.
I guess, but he's relying that on a lot, and it's just all exposition and no action. It was nice when his exasperations took on forms like Mary Lee Walsh and stuff like that, and he didn't just talk about university.
I think it's because he has less people in his life. He's living through less stories, so he has less stories to tell.
Yeah, Christian. I don't know if Christian really leaves the house much.
He does. He goes to the mall or whatever. But I'm excited for the idea that he's going to continue revisiting both his old OCs, but also new ones, or giving more attention to ones that he hasn't looked at much. Like, I looked at what was going on. I'm excited for the idea that, like, Sarah and Christine and Robbie are going to have maybe, like, lives of their own. Because then we'll get more hilarious recolors.
Well, then you'll be enjoying episode 12 because it is about Robbie trying to find his evolution.
Oh my god. Okay, so awkward subject, but Robbie's still a he? Is it male pronouns?
Robbie was never a he. Robbie was just convinced by society to act that way.
Yeah, like officially though.
Yeah.
Is it female pronouns now?
That's kind of what's going on. Chris has drawn Robbie as a tomboy when he was in that phase, which eventually came full on like trans. So I think he's going the same path with Robbie.
Yeah, I think
Robbie will start dressing like a girl, and then Robbie will be a girl.
I think it's gonna be a combination of Chris kind of talking about his past in his artistic way and how he's never felt. See, that's why I've always been like, Chris is probably a girl. So, because Chris is, I mean, especially the story seems to be Chris kind of dealing with those feelings and stuff. But I'm
feeling it too.
Christian, but it seems sincere.
I don't think Chris is lying or faking, so I'm not really in a position to judge the validity of anybody's identity. But at the same time, there's been a really persistent effort for years now from some people to gaslight the very suggestible Chris Chan into thinking that they are any number of things.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to disagree with all of you. Chris doesn't have the capabilities to understand the roles and expectations the world has of an adult male, much less the roles, expectations, and the things that an adult female who transitioned from being a male would have to endure. He doesn't have the capabilities to process what he thinks he wants, and as a result, his transition is just him acting on impulses and suggestions. I don't feel his transition's legitimate, and he's got these strange ideas about how it'll make him more appealing to women. If for some reason, as a straight male, Chris had the dating pool of all the other straight females on Earth, that's a way bigger pool than the lesbian females who would date a male to female transgender person, regardless of them being Chris.
This is starting to remind me of like a really problematic math question that you might find in a textbook.
I mean, it is. It is a really problematic math problem, but Chris kind of maybe needs that communicated to him. And not in the mean, hey, no one wants to date you, Chris, you're ugly way, but in the logistic, like, way that you have narrowed your options to a point that's almost impossible just by your life choices, not by who you are or how you look or how little you bathe or your insanely obscure interest or your refusal to do anything but play video games. Like, you would even take all of that out of the question, and you've already really narrowed down the amount of people that could potentially be your partner.
Well, I mean, I don't know. So if Chris Chan's a girl who plays video games and has an internet connection, she could be a streamer.
Even
kind of is.
There's still people who can't deal with that sort of complexity in their dating schema. There's some people that just couldn't do that.
I think he has a chance with other trans women, but he wouldn't take that chance.
No, he'd consider them beneath him somehow.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the narrowest margin of people that would date him, he already excludes some of them.
Hello, everybody. Good day. This is Christine Chandler once again coming to you live from home. Well, I've come to the realization that I have another apology that I owe to everybody, especially those that definitely know the pages and of my later books that are still months away before I put them on paper publish. But I have updated some of those pages. But anyway, they were reminiscent and reflective of past homophobia. Anyway, you see, when I originally drew and wrote those pages, I was quite homophobic at the time. But then when I came out in July of 2014 as myself, a lesbian trans woman, I have realized that I am part of the LGBTQ community, and I definitely felt like I fit in when I went to the Pride Festival in that same year later, after I came out. So anyway, I had since edited those changes and changed the content to away from that, and well, had a cure for homosexuality put in there. Which was end up what I came back from the future for. But anyway, I changed that to just essentially preventing a zombie apocalypse. Anyway, I do sincerely want to apologize for the homophobia and the past misinterpreted outrage that I had felt at the time, because you see, originally when I was homophobic, it was because the mislabelings that were put upon me and Sonichu, because Sonichu is definitely not gay. Sonichu loves women. And Rosechu is a woman, and she loves her man.
Chris Chan needs to touch the orb.
Yeah.
And gain the chaos wisdom contained within.
And maybe free his sister, who's been trapped in a dark mirror for, 3 decades?
Oh my god!
That's an Shive thing. Hold on. That's almost a thing that happens in Goonish Shive.
Oh, yeah?
A dude gets turned into a girl, and then they have to go, raid a government facility to find a magic diamond that does the thing, and it turns it into a separate person, and now they pretend they're twins.
That's a stupid fucking idea.
Yeah, it is.
This is a dumbass story.
Hey, at least it sounds like there was a little bit of intrigue and breaking into a government facility. I could read that, but
to get a magic rock okay.
Why not? They were using it to stay warm. It was like their heat rock.
I forgot that Sonichu had that completely unresolved plot thread where Chris Chan's imaginary twin sister that looks just like, at the time, him, but gender swapped, who is trapped in an alternate dimension. That actually makes me wonder if maybe Chris Chan's transition is something rooted in them and not something someone else tricked them into. Is that they had this female counterpart that was just like them in every way, but framed them as being a twin sister. But
like, I find those arguments far more convincing than arguments about like the validity of like, who are you to judge how much someone passes or how hard someone needs to try to transition. It's like, Chris doesn't understand the complex social issues that he's dealing with.
Arguably, Chris then doesn't have any gender because he doesn't understand any gender. He doesn't understand what it means to be an adult.
I would accept that. I would accept that. Yes, he doesn't understand what it is to be an adult male or an adult female or a child male or a child female. He doesn't understand any of that.
I don't like.
He understands he likes female companionship.
Social forces to be shaped by them.
You know who I am. But I have randomly decided to make this video because I am sick of all the false accusations and rumors and slanders that have been going around on the internet against me. So I tell you for sure and for true that I am straight. I can tell you why from my lifetime stories, but I'll tell it to you in just a few short minutes. Anyway, most of my friends in my life have been female. I've had only few male acquaintances, and they definitely turn me off, the majority of them, because they are rude, crude, and inconsiderate, causing wars and such. But women are so kind and sweet, and you don't have to look at any of them in bikinis or in a nude to fail to see the beauty in each and every wonderful woman. But inside that beauty, they all have caring qualities, the majority of them. And between them and me and the majority of the world, we all just want to be understood. And I understand the ladies. I understand the women.
Yeah, I think that his gender is partly like her gender is partly like, like you said, Megan, companionship, and based on what Chris believes will get Chris companionship, even if that's not always accurate. Also, some shit probably got in there too.
I mean, on that, he doesn't actually have any conception of what some of the relationships he idolizes would actually be like.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He doesn't. There's no way he can understand that.
Like, he idolizes his father, but doesn't try to emulate, really. Because Bob was a lumberjack. He's a butch man.
Bob was the mean one, and Barb is the one who cuddles, so that's how he knows what he likes.
Does worship that Bob, though. No.
Yeah. Let's talk really loud and ignore the fact that Shog is peeing during the podcast.
I'll just assume all of you were peeing from now on.
In any case, it's interesting. What you were touching on before with the polar female mirror of himself, I find that more convincing than arguments about his understanding of gender politics, because maybe deep down inside, like, he wants to experience femininity because it's so alien to him, and it's also so comforting to him.
Though. He loves Barbies and ponies and stuff. He always has, and if anything, that's probably why he got picked on.
But that love of Barbies and ponies isn't a defining aspect of femininity in my mind. That's just
it is in Chris's, though. That's what Chris has, because sometimes you think about Chris a little too much like a normie, like neurotypical. Neurotypical.
Ah!
That's the word of the day. But Chris doesn't think like us. I mean, not that Chris is inhuman, but Chris is. I mean, even amongst autistic people, Chris is has such a distinct, and if there was a way to just experience a thought like from somebody's head, you would probably be able to pick a Chris Chan thought out of a lineup.
Right. Yeah. Out of a grab bag of consciousness, you could reach in there and be like, oh, that one was sticky.
Yeah, it smells a little weird.
Someone's orb is beeping.
The orb! But, I was going somewhere with this before you invoked the orb, and it
the grab bag
my
of
mind.
consciousness with Chris Chan's
Oh, yeah.
thoughts.
So, but Chris sees women and saw little girls that he knew playing with Barbies and My Little Ponies, so that's what he did. And then it's just always equated to femininity with him. And honestly, in our pop culture media stoked society, those things are still strong. The whole Lisa Frank, Hello Kitty, even if it's ironic, you see a lot of trans and gay boys wearing really kind of middle school girl bullshit.
Well, one of the things that Chris latched onto, which has been kind of a uniting force in the LGBT community, was Sailor Moon. A lot of people took empowerment from that story, and the fact that Usagi's just kind of a dumb klutz when she's not, Sailor Moon.
Man, I could do a whole episode about Sailor Moon and how people interpret it and all of this shit. That's you have no idea. If you've ever dipped your toes onto Tumblr, my God.
When it comes to meanings of things, sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but
not these two gumshoes.
These two gumshoes are
picking up the slack.
There's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale.
You two are beautiful.
I think you've seen both Shogs and I. It hasn't occurred to me now, but if we ever went to a con, we could probably pull off a really good Chip and Dale duo.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I think we could do it.
Were they?
You could wear
Is that what that show was about?
They were rescue rangers.
They were rescue rangers.
That was not an indistinct job.
Yeah.
Where they apparently didn't get paid for.
Yeah.
But they're animals, so
once they're involved, whatever's wrong gets solved. Wherever there's danger, they'll take the clues and find out the where's and
whys and
who's.
Chip and Dale.
Danger.
In any case, Chris latched on to Sailor Moon for a while, mostly because of Megan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Megan that got him into it? Yeah.
No, Chris is Megan.
What? Oh.
The one that came for CWC.
Yeah, that one.
Is it in my best interest to pretend that that's me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
This is our co-host, Megan.
Yeah, right.
I can't believe I remember that name.
I wonder if...
Find me video games.
I might have to bleep that out, actually.
Yeah, we might not want that. That's a bad... in any case...
That poor woman has been separated for 15 years now.
Let's
get her on the show.
Let's move to maybe talking about Sailor Moon as just something Chris embraced, and the idea that he could transform, because the transformation thing appealed to him. Sonic transforms, Goku transforms, Sailor Moon transforms,
Chris Sonichu transforms.
Chris Sonichu transforms.
Transformers transform.
Transformers.
Lou Reed transforms.
I think we're seeing a trend here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean it's escapism.
And the heavy misandry of the series.
Yeah.
What?
Actually, I guess that's true, because remember the whole thing with Chris was that men were meaner to Chris than women in high school, and Chris hates other men for taking all the girlfriends, or did, in the classic days.
He also hates them for being jerks, except for his father, which he was always clear about.
Except his father was a jerk. Sort of.
Chris is an ancestor worshiper.
Racist old Virginian man.
He still seemed to not like certain things that Bob did. He was kind of pushing against that authority as much as he respected it.
Yeah, but you're supposed to love your parents and respect them. So Chris loves them, and they're the only people. I mean, if you think about Chris Chan's life, we're the only people that are being at least kind and nice to them.
Yeah. I mean, without Bob, we know what happens without Bob now. Rest in peace.
We all know what happens.
He was holding them together.
This does not even deserve a captain's log introduction, because this is dead serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, everyone heard it. My mother and my father are angry at me. They're blaming at me. It's my fault. I admit it's my fault. I want everything about my house off the internet. I'll send in detectives. I'll send in police. I'll send in everything in my power to get it off the internet.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Shut that goddamn thing off. I don't care what you do. You get all that stuff off of there tonight.
I'm working on it.
Go work on it.
I am
Do
working.
you realize? Do you realize something? Let me tell you. If the health department of Greene County sees those videos that you put on the damn internet, they could condemn our house and we would have to move out of it.
I see.
You go get that goddamn stuff off of there and fast.
I'm working on it. I was making a YouTube video for you to tell everybody to get the images off of the internet. It's out of my control.
Oh, you get them off.
It's out of my control. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to
You
go.
loaded them up there. You unload them.
I'm working on it.
Go do it.
I am doing it. I'm sorry.
Get in here and do it. I'll be up all night with you if I have to. You won't get any sleep for that stuff.
I'm working on it.
Get in there and start.
I'm working on it. Let me do these stupid videos. I can tell everybody at my command to get everything, help me get everything off the internet about our house.
I don't want to get kicked out of my house by the health department. And what you just did was stick a knife in our back and kill us.
All right, let me just.
Get that stuff off of there.
I'm
Get it off of there fast.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So yeah, please get everything off of the internet now, 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 now! Curse the trolls. Peace to everybody else.
I think he was repressing Chris's real, true gender identity.
Chris has definitely changed a lot since Bob died. And
Right.
I think
well,
for the
then
better in some ways, at
their
least.
finances have been an absolute mess, as anyone who follows Chris with any degree of attention knows.
Oh, yeah, Chris is part of what's motivated Chris to do some of this stuff is selling stuff to the people even more online and weirder than us who are actively spending hundreds of dollars buying Sonichu amiibos and little
And the
statues
totem.
and things.
So he sold.
The totem's almost as strong as an orb.
Yeah, the
Oh,
totem.
yeah, that's so powerful.
Yeah, I hate that someone has the totem that paid with it for their mom's credit card. But yeah, there used to be, again, for someone who might not know, we'll explain it briefly, this horrific-looking stunned papier-mâché model of Sonic that used to live in the background of this man-child's den.
It was amazing. It's just hideous.
It's just absolutely terrifying.
And it was always there.
Outside our arc, and it was kind of the Where's Waldo of photos with him. It was just always there in the background, looking terrifying. But and it survived a house fire, and then
It's magic.
yeah, there were legends about the totem, but someone bought it on eBay for what, like thousands of dollars? Ridiculous.
1,500?
1,500.
But didn't they
really put a price on that kind of magic?
Didn't they back charge on it though, and like fuck Chris over on that?
No,
Okay, good.
that was the shirt that got back charged. He was selling some of his shirts.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad. Okay, because the totem. I'm glad Chris got good paid for that totem because that was a serious like. Now we need to just find out who has it and go break into their house. And
Right. I mean, not to advocate for a crime here, but that would kind of be the ultimate justice. Is like, haha, I'm gonna troll a disabled person online by spending lots of money on them. Haha, I'm such a
The next season of Homo Vulgaris will be like Serial, and it'll be about how we tried to conduct an elaborate heist to steal this internet artifact.
Or it got stolen, and we'll have a list of suspects we go through and give their alibis, and eventually we might find the totem. The totem you know where the totem belongs.
That belongs in
in a museum. I do. One of my great dreams in life is to create a roadside internet museum that would have things like Chris's shirt, like a 24 by 24 foot goatsy printout, just like it's lit up.
I would
like a mystery spot, but full of internet shit.
Yeah, a whole wing dedicated to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Those rings you used to be able to buy that would make you immortal. Do you remember those?
Yeah, Alex Chu or
God, yeah,
some
what was
Alex
that?
Chu's
Whoever
stuff.
did those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
skull
He
of
does
Jean
immortal
Ray.
pills too.
Hey, I heard that the spirits are pretty. Some of the spirits on the four-dimensional plane, the four-sided afterlife have been restless, and a good time may be coming up to attempt to contact the dead.
Are you talking about the solar eclipse or something? What are you talking
Possibly. I'm just saying we might be able to get the spirit of Jean Ray on here.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, we late one dark and stormy night in the Homo Vulgaris Discord, a phantom appeared before us. And it was terrifying, and he spoke of the fourth dimensional time cube and then vanished like so much fart.
We'd also like to thank the fans who've been donating the fresh cadavers for our experiments at reanimating certain internet celebrities. It takes a lot of bodies to figure out how to make a live one, but we're working on it. Keep sending them corpses.
Yeah, and also the amalgam celebrities haven't worked out too well. So
yeah, the whole thing where we tried to mix Marilyn Monroe with Chris Farley was a terrible mistake.
I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean,
for the 4 seconds it lasted.
If you thought that SNL skit where he's doing a striptease dance-off against the guy from Ghost was funny before,
it's even funnier now because he's a literal ghost. Oh,
we need more ghosts. Well,
there'll never be too many ghosts. I mean, they're coming all the time. Like you will always have ghosts.
You're saying ghosts are coming all the time?
Well, that too.
No wonder they're always going, oh!
They're arriving and ejaculating all the time.
That's what
that was a ghost ectoplasmic emission.
Make sure, by the way, to put some tasty food around your Wi-Fi router to flavor the signal so the ghosts can eat it.
That's a Tumblr thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't find the original post. I think that person may have deleted their blog, but it was a thing that someone was claiming was a real, like a pagan practice that they were flavoring their Wi-Fi for spirits to eat.
Wait, this isn't like a joke.
No.
I don't think so.
I'd get into that. I'd do that.
I mean, that's kind of it. Sort of makes sense in a terrible occultic way, in that you would want certain scents and things like that, and fragrances that would remind the spirits of their past life. But I don't know many spirits that are going to be attracted to blueberry WAP encryptions.
It's a pretty common practice to leave food for the dead in many societies.
Got to switch
They gotta make the journey to the other side. They're gonna get hungry, and in Ghost Hunter Bull. I think this is an amusing practice, not something I'd do, but in Ghost Hunter shit, the ghosts are always have the electromagnetic radio interference bullshit going on. So yeah, I guess if you put 2 and 2 together,
I'm sure that's exactly how they arrived at the the cheesecake scented. Down the fucking Wi-Fi, yeah.
Spirits like smells. It's known.
Oh, that's why.
And if you focus really hard on your wife, Twilight Sparkle will be real.
Let's keep all those glitches in because that was amazing. Whatever just happened.
But also say it again.
Yeah, say it again.
Ghosts are eating your Wi-Fi.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Oh, I think Megan was devoured by a hungry spirit.
I guess I have to apologize for the ghosts of the Wired. I'm sorry for being so skeptical.
One of these days when we get a guy from the Cyberpunk Society in, I have a ghost story, a Wired ghost story that happened to me. Oh. I was visited by an actual spirit in digital form.
And were they like, don't worry, I'm still alive. I've only abandoned my body. You should join us. God lives here.
They wanted to share some Instagram photos with me. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, man, I always wanted to see an Instagram photo of the afterlife. I always figured, they've probably got some nice buildings over there.
No, see, they send Snapchat because you can't prove it exists.
Oh.
Yeah, proof really is antithetical to the supernatural, isn't it?
No, not in the way I see it. It's antithetical to true believers, but to willing skeptics, to the doubting Thomases of the cult. It's not the worst thing.
There are more things in heaven and heck that are written of in your books, Prospero. That was by Milton.
Yeah.
There are.
I'll look at your Bigfoot photos. You send them my way.
Yeah, I always check out Bigfoot news.
Send us your spooky and occult photos and images.
We should get Bigfoot on the show.
We should get Bigfoot on the show.
If you know Bigfoot, put them in touch. But it appears that the ghosts of the Wired have eaten one of our co-hosts, and I think maybe it might be time to wrap up the show before the rest of us get devoured and dragged.
We'd like to state that she's perfectly fine. We did not sacrifice her to the orb for clicks. We'd never do such a thing. Nobody respects women more than Homo Vulgaris.
Well,
it's true.
Yeah,
I mean, we can prove it. We've run the numbers. This is the most women respecting podcast online.
We are allies, and we are all male feminists. And if you are a woman and you don't understand what feminism means, join the Discord. I'll explain it to you.
Yeah. That's all I want to say. Join the Discord. Show me your Bigfoot dick pics. I'll look at them. I'll rate it.
Really tried to suck my dick.
All right. Any last thoughts?
That was it. That's. You're not gonna top that.
We have a Patreon in case we didn't mention that yet, and that's HTTP with the colon 2 / like you do, or you can skip all that and just type patreon.com/H Vulgaris, and we'll have content
links in the description. All right, folks, all hail the orb. Live in peace with the spirits of the Wired. Respect each other's gender identities, and have yourselves a very nice day.
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good. It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do? First, you say no. Then, you get out of there. Most important, you gotta tell someone you trust. Like your parents, your teacher, a police officer.